It's a test you should not put off taking. We are talking radon exposure and why it's a big concern since it could lead to lung cancer. Curt Drew, owner of Iowa Radon Defense, is here with more information. I was telling you, I'm glad we're talking about this. It's such an important issue that I think people still are maybe unaware of or unsure about.
Yeah, it really is. Radon is very common in the Midwest, especially in Iowa. And so people really need to know about what radon is and what the health effects for exposure of radon are. And it's it's something that's pretty easy to test for and fix. So it's one of those things that we all should take care of.
Yeah, we mentioned it can, exposure could lead to lung cancer.
Right.
That's the big concern, right?
Right. It's the number 2 cause of lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know smoking is the number 1. And they say about 15 to 20% of lung cancers are caused by radon. So it's a pretty big number. And it's even higher in Iowa just because it's so common, so.
And is any home at risk of having this?
Yeah, really any home. It's a product of the soil. So radon comes from uranium. Okay, so if you think about uranium, that's what we mine for nuclear power, right? So it's a radioactive substance. So uranium breaks down to radium, and then it off gases radon gas. It just comes up from the earth. Okay, it's a natural gas. And then homes being put into the earth can suck that gas in. And depending on, you got a basement, your house is tight, or even drafty homes can have high radon levels. So it's really, there's no oh, my house should be fine because of this. You really should just test. It's easy to test, find out what your levels are. And if it's high, systems can be put in one day and they run 24/7 and they ventilate out the gas.
Okay, and and we're seeing some pictures right now of those mitigation systems. But before we talk more about that, let's talk about the testing. And you brought some examples here of testing monitors and something else. What do we have?
Yeah, there's really 3 ways to test your house. Okay, and there's do-it-yourself test kits like this one. You can find these from the health department. They sell them.
And very inexpensive.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking $10 to $20 for a test kit, And then also you can buy them at hardware stores. So you'll see them at Lowe's next to the fire alarms, and that section. And so those are easy tests to do yourself. You can do it and you mail it off to a lab and you get the results back inexpensively. It's really up to the homeowner then to place it in the right spot, and do it the right way. But you expose them for a minimum of a couple of days before you mail it off. And then I wanted to also show these radon detectors. These are
detectors.
It's a consumer grade detector. And this one's got a digital readout. It's not plugged in, but you'd see a digital readout. This one connects to an app on your phone. And there's several of them you can find on the internet, on Amazon. You can look those up. And those are, we're actually impressed lately with those. They're very accurate. The detector, the technology has really come a long way with those. And that's a consumer grade deal. You plug it in, you can see what your radon levels are all the time if you want to keep an eye on it. So it's kind of nice. And then this is a radon monitor. So this is a calibrated instrument that professionals use to do radon testing.
This is something you would use?
This is what we use, exactly. So we'll come out and set this radon monitor in the appropriate area. And then we usually schedule to come back about 3 days later because it'll gather that information for a 3-day period. Radon levels fluctuate throughout the day. And so you want to do a period of time, not just a snapshot of the radon level. So that's and there's several different monitors that professionals use. You'll see those a lot if you're buying and selling a house and a home inspector comes out. They'll use a professional monitor to do that testing. So, and then, obviously, our folks that are licensed can come out and do that testing too.
And then you can mitigate it and tell us about that. Again, we were seeing those pictures on how that works to reduce the levels.
Yeah, so we're dealing with air pressure. So if you think about that void in the earth that's sucking in the radon gas, there's negative air pressure in the lower levels of a home and building. And so what we install is a depressurization system. So we're drilling usually through the concrete slab of the house or going into the sump pit of the house, and then we're sucking at the earth under the home. And so now the gas that was coming up and fighting to get into the house is getting drawn to this extraction point and then getting ventilated out of the house. And so it's pretty straightforward. Every house is different, so we have to customize these systems to fit the house, but they're very effective.
And it can be affordable too, or it is affordable.
Yeah. We're talking in between $1,500 to, and on up if you have a crawl space and different kind of issues with your home. But it's affordable. You can finance it if it's expensive. And then, like I said, systems will usually take a day to install.
And good for your health. which is the key.
Right. Hey, let's get rid of cancer.
That's right.
It's terrible. We all have loved ones that have been inflicted with cancer, and this is one form of us preventing cancer. Let's get rid of radon out of our homes.
Curt Drew, thank you so much for being here to share this with us today.
Thanks for having me, Megan.
And for more information, you can go online to iowaradon.com or call 515-416-8521 for more information.
Breaking news this morning.